idea of rent control rejected by some in Saskatoon. Who's against the idea of advocating for the practice? Keeping farms in the family, the push to get Ottawa to change the rules around capital gains. And tariffs making it tough for Saskatchewan businesses. How some are hoping to stay afloat despite being hit hard.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight at City Hall, where the concept of rent control was mentioned when discussing the city's plan to tackle homelessness. And although the city does not plan to push for the measure, it sparked concern from the local housing industry. Keenan Sorokon explains.
Rent control, I don't know where that is in the report. I know it was in a draft, an earlier draft. And definitely, okay, and I'm hearing it's definitely in here.
A few minutes at City Hall caused a stir in the housing industry after the idea of advocating for rent control appeared in a city report to mitigate homelessness Tuesday. While the city immediately made it clear it's not a topic it's weighing in on, a heads up would have been nice for some.
You don't tell your key players that you are an action item in those reports. That's not collaboration and that's not building trust.
The Saskatoon Homelessness Action Plan was approved by a city committee Tuesday, but the city says its role is limited and it's part of a community-driven initiative that includes the Saskatoon Tribal Council, Métis Nation Saskatchewan, and others.
We are only recommending confirmation of the city's lane in the plan, which is very specifically laid out in the report.
But any talks of rent control is being shot down by the voice of rental housing providers.
Rent control doesn't work because it discourages investment, it worsens affordability, it makes wait lists even longer and more expensive for the families that are looking for housing.
Field says property taxes have risen more than rent in the last 10 years, and the city has a role in affordability.
Are we satisfied with the investment we've put in and how much it's moved the dial? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, let's keep at it.
But with any form of rent control being a provincial responsibility, city councillors and administration are doing their best to step aside.
I don't think the province really cares what the city of Saskatoon has to say about it, if you want my honest opinion.
In a statement, the province pointed to Manitoba, where it says there is rent control, but the average cost of rent is higher than Saskatchewan, adding it hurts long-term affordability. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Crime reported to police is down across the country, including Saskatchewan. Still, our province's crime severity index remains almost twice the national average. New data from Statistics Canada shows nationally the crime severity index, also known as the CSI, dropped 5% in 2025 to a value of just over 75. Saskatchewan's crime severity index was also down 5% last year, measuring just over 146. But Saskatchewan RCMP say 60 of the province's 84 detachment areas patrolled by Mounties are over the national CSI. Of those, 11 are more than 10 times the national rate. Among the communities with the highest ranking are the northern areas of Black Lake, Pelican Narrows, La Loche, and Cumberland House. The city of Prince Albert measures 285, with Saskatoon ranking at just over 108 and Regina at just over 91. The crime severity index measures both the volume and the seriousness of police-reported crime. An 18-year-old woman has died following an ATV rollover in northern Saskatchewan. RCMP say it happened yesterday morning just after 8:30 on the Canoe Lake Cree Nation, where the crash happened. The woman who died was a passenger on the vehicle. She was from the Canoe Lake Cree First Nation. The driver of the ATV was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The Saskatchewan Roughriders say they will honor the Regina man who died in last weekend's crash along with one of their teammates. The team says it will pay tribute to Bhishma Rajaguru before their game against the Edmonton Elks tomorrow night. The 22-year-old died when the vehicle he was driving collided with a vehicle driven by Riders linebacker Jaden Delkey on Highway 11 near Lumsden on Saturday night. The Riders say they are working with Rajaguru's family on the best way to support them. The team has also said they plan to hold a tribute for Dalkey before the game. On Monday, RCMP said Dalkey was driving on the wrong side of the road and that his SUV had left a gas station without paying prior to the crash. Officers also found alcohol and cannabis in Dalkey's vehicle. Autopsies and toxicology reports are still being done. The ATV rollover and the crash on Highway 11 last weekend are among the many in Saskatchewan over the last couple of weeks. More than a dozen people have died on provincial highways during that time. And as Wayne Mantika tells us, it's prompted RCMP to issue a reminder to drivers about what they're doing behind the wheel.
Saskatchewan RCMP are responding to an increased number of fatal collisions and are sharing their concerns with the public.
This summer so far, from June 1st to July 22nd, Saskatchewan RCMP officers responded to 23 fatal collisions that resulted in the deaths of 27 people.
Since July 10th alone, there have been 12 fatal collisions across Saskatchewan with the loss of 17 lives. RCMP say that's a 108% increase in fatalities compared to the same period last year.
It's seatbelt use, speed, distracted driving, and impairment. They pop up and they are very prevalent in a lot of these collisions and fatalities, and it is something that is under the complete control of those operators.
RCMP say impairment is the cause of 35% of Saskatchewan traffic fatalities. The provincial government is considering changes that would permit immediate 30-day roadside license suspensions and vehicle impoundments for impaired drivers.
The delay in that consequence for the behavior ultimately isn't showing us the level of deterrence that we would like to see, particularly in a problematic area like impaired driving.
Police had no new information to share about last week's collision near Lumsden that took the lives of Saskatchewan Roughrider Jaden Dalkey and Bishma Rajaguru. The riders say their prayers are with both families.
It's been a heavy week, but we also know we have a job to do.
Tributes to both men will be paid during a ceremony at Thursday's Rider game at Mosaic Stadium. Two of the many people killed in the recent increase in traffic fatalities in Saskatchewan. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
We are hearing more about what happened the night a man was arrested by Prince Albert Police in 2023. Officers responding to a call that led to his arrest testified on day 3 of the inquest into his death. Jasmine Pelche reports.
Officers involved in the arrest that led to the death of Bowden Umperville testified Wednesday, the third day of an inquest into the incident. They said Umperville was forcibly removed from a car after he refused to exit the vehicle during a 2023 arrest for outstanding warrants. 9 officers total responded to the incident, and about 5 officers at a time were involved with removing, restraining, and handcuffing Umperville, which involved the use of tasers, batons, and pepper spray. Umperville had a loaded gun and a knife removed from his person during the arrest. One officer testified that when restrained face down on the ground, they heard Umperville say he could not breathe. But the officer said he didn't see anyone restricting Umperville's airway or further cause for concern. Parkland Ambulance was called while the arrest was in progress. Police say that once Umperville was carried on a stretcher to the ambulance, EMS checked and found Umperville had no pulse, and CPR was administered. An investigation by the Provincial Serious Incident Response Team concluded Umperville's death was the result of cardiac arrest brought on by cocaine and positional asphyxia. Multiple officers testified they did not see Umperville's vitals evaluated prior to the evaluation performed by EMS. The inquest is scheduled to continue Thursday. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
A teen wanted on a Canada-wide warrant out of Montreal has been arrested in Saskatoon. The 16-year-old boy was wanted for the break and enter of a home in Montreal. Police there believe the teen was in Saskatoon and contacted police here in April asking for help in finding him. On July 15th, members of the Saskatoon Police Services Warrant Enforcement Unit arrested the suspect in the 200 block of Fairmont Drive. He is facing a string of weapons charges as well as break and enter. He will be sent back to Montreal to face the offenses. Well, Jeff, we had a splash of rain in parts of the city this afternoon.
That's right. You know, it happens. These pop-up showers. There was a shower that sort of popped up just to the west of Saskatoon and it rolled on through and then said bye-bye, or essentially rang itself out. But ultimately, yes, these happened during the summer, and just so happens that Saskatoon was one of those areas that did get hit with a brief blast of rain. Now, we don't anticipate a lot in the way of organized storms, Chantel, with the exception of the far north, and we'll talk about that later on. But pop-up showers are certainly a part of the situation in July and August, and we'll probably see more of those. But we'll have more on the rest of the forecast in detail later on.
Efforts are underway to keep farms in the family. Carla Shinkerick on the calls for Ottawa to change the tax rules to make it easier to pass the properties down to the next generation.
For this farm family, succession planning isn't just about the future. It's about making sure the family farm can survive.
There's a need to start to change these policies.
This is Nathan Kuhn, who farms near Reward, Saskatchewan in the West Central region. He says the tax burden facing successors can make it harder for the next generation to take over.
We want a farm that will continue on through the generations, and if I can hand that farm to my brother's children, it's more empowerment to the family farm.
FarmStrong, a company that helps farm families with succession planning, is urging Ottawa to expand the capital gains exemption beyond children, so it also applies when farms are transferred to nieces and nephews. Darren Shrewsbury says the change would help keep more farms in the hands of families instead of being sold to larger operations.
So there is a lot of people that do not qualify for the tax-free rollover under the CRA rules. Adding nieces and nephews will definitely increase the amount of farmers that have the ability to keep those farms in their family.
The president of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities agrees the issue should be a priority, stressing that family farms remain the backbone of rural communities.
Some families that say, well, you know what, if the tax is going to be this high or it's going to cost this much to transfer my land or my property to a family member, maybe I can sell it to a corporate investor.
In a statement to CTV News, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture says it will not comment on hypothetical policy proposals, but says pre-budget consultations are underway, and we want to hear from stakeholders in industry as we work to advance a growth and competitiveness agenda while providing support for Canadian sectors during this period of global uncertainty. We encourage everyone to share their ideas. Those we spoke to are hopeful this conversation will continue well beyond this show. Carla Shinkerick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Government of Canada is making a cash commitment to help boost agriculture in Saskatchewan. Buckley Boulanger, Secretary of State for Rural Development and Saskatchewan MP, was on hand to announce $10 million for 9 projects in the province. The goal is to help Saskatchewan companies develop and produce products for both a made-in-Canada option and also to expand export markets.
These investments will help Saskatchewan's businesses and organizations develop and adapt new technologies, expand food processing, and getting more Saskatchewan-grown products to customers here, at home, and around the world.
Today's announcement was made at Ag in Motion. Businesses are bracing for the most recent round of tariffs threatened by American President Donald Trump. As Hallie Mander reports, a Saskatoon area retailer is already feeling the impacts.
When Kelvin Fellner, owner of a local American goods store in Martinsville, first heard about the upcoming tariffs imposed by the United States, he found it hard to believe.
And I says, it's a hoax. I cannot see this happening. And then all of a sudden, turning on the news, following all that, it's going to happen. And 28 days does not give us a time. My jaw dropped when I seen that.
The past year has been hard for his local business due to various tariffs imposed by the United States. However, the most recent threat of a 50% tariff is deeply concerning for Fellner.
It was awful for us. If they never lifted the tariffs like they did, I don't know if we would have been able to keep going. Now with the talk of 50% tariff, I don't know what our future will hold here.
Fellner says the tariffs, in addition to the exchange rate, would require a significant markup on his products in order to make a profit.
A case of soda pop right now is roughly $10 American. Time we do the math with our 50%, we're going to have to charge upwards of $48 And no one will buy that.
On Wednesday, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe told media that the path forward towards a solution involves coming to an agreement in a renewed and reviewed Canada-US-Mexico agreement on free trade, also known as CUSMA.
I am bullish that we will be able to find that in the near term. However, I'm not entirely confident that we will. And so all we can do is to make every effort, myself as a subnational leader, to support our federal government and support those that are sitting at that bargaining table.
In the meantime, businesses like Fellner's are forced to wait. Fellner estimates that if the tariffs come into effect, his business will only be able to survive another 2 months at most.
We've put my heart and soul into this little business, and I don't want to see it taken away. This is my income. This is what I do. It's something that I've had a dream of. I love doing it, but I'm not sure what the future is going to hold if this comes into effect.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan is loaning a spare aircraft engine to Ontario to help with major wildfires in that province. The engine will be installed on one of Ontario's CL-415 water bombers. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says it's another example of working through partners like the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre to support other Canadian provinces, territories, and U.S. states when they require equipment or personnel. Ontario currently has about 170 active wildfires that have forced more than 1,800 people from their homes. Some Saskatchewan healthcare workers will hold a strike vote this fall. After being without a contract since 2023, CUPE 5430 says its members will vote on a potential strike action in September. The union represents around 14,000 healthcare workers in Regina and the surrounding area. The province says negotiations are ongoing. Reports of people not paying their transit fares are up in Prince Albert. The city says in recent months it's been receiving reports of passengers trying to ride transit with invalid, fraudulent, or misused fares. In some incidents, passengers presented handwritten or photocopied bus passes or refused to show proof of fare when requested. The city says these incidents delay service for other passengers and create unnecessary challenges for drivers. Passengers may be denied boarding if they refuse to follow transit rules, and repeat violations may lead to restricted use of transit. Still to come, a look at where trade talks are at national leaders. Also, is there hope a strike could be averted at WestJet? You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Donald Trump's blistering tariff policy is under scrutiny as the U.S. president's top trade representative testified before a Senate Finance Committee. Jamieson Greer was grilled on the policy as questions remain about the status of trade negotiations. Judy Trin reports.
Senator Wyden. The general in Donald Trump's trade war, Jamieson Greer, was grilled on why he was using a 1930 law to put new 50% tariffs on Canada.
Nobody, not even Herbert Hoover, used this provision before, but Donald Trump dug up a zombie law to make things even more expensive for Americans.
The U.S. trade representative justified the actions.
We're fighting against a ban on American liquor on shelves. We're fighting against hard caps on export of American cars. So we've never banned Canadian products. We've never done that kind of thing, but we're fighting against caps on American cheese.
The senators responded with a barrage of examples of the pain Trump's policies were causing. They say last year, costs for the average American family went up by $1,700 and tourism plunged.
Number one, our tourism is down about 40%. A lot of that has to do with the rhetoric that the president has used, and I don't hold you responsible for that. But the 51st state, the governor of Canada, that rhetoric has really inhibited Canadians from coming down.
There's concern the White House has crossed the line with these new tariffs that impact an additional $28 billion worth of Canadian exports.
How are you approaching the risk of retaliatory tariffs from Canada?
I talked with my Canadian counterpart yesterday. They did not say they're going to retaliate.
The Trump administration continues to exempt Canadian energy from tariffs. That's also where they're the most vulnerable.
I mean, it's, the truth is, if Canada wanted to, you could shut down our electricity in New England and cripple oil and gas.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has not ruled out retaliation. The government is considering targeted action, especially in Republican states where seats are up for grabs in this year's U.S. midterm elections. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The threat of new tariffs is hanging over the Premier's meeting in PEI as they look for ways to sway the Americans. But today, they were also focused on pressures closer to home, from energy and healthcare to national unity. CTV's Maria Saru reports from Charlottetown.
All 13 of Canada's premiers spent most of the day around one table. Much of the conversation stayed in the room, but the broader moment was put plainly.
Nothing unites like a common opponent. And there's no more popular opponent in Canada right now than Donald Trump.
And it seems for now, old domestic divisions were set aside, with premiers from Alberta and Quebec saying separatist sentiment wasn't an issue.
No, I didn't hear any comments on that topic.
Premier Smith?
Yeah, no, it didn't come up.
There was more common ground on health care, with premiers asking Ottawa to pay more.
Today, the country's portion is down to 21%. So we need to see that come back up because the needs are greater.
They're calling for the Canada Health transfer to grow by at least 5% per year starting in 2028. For the territories, energy security is a top priority to protect and power their communities.
One of the key things that's holding us back is our lack of connection to southern power grids.
We found ourselves in a very dangerous situation last winter where we almost couldn't meet the demand. We didn't have enough generation capacity to meet the demand that Yukoners had. That was during a prolonged cold snap.
They're looking to the federal government to help close those gaps.
Tariffs will likely be back at the top of the agenda tomorrow when Prime Minister Mark Carney meets with premiers, and divisions around how to retaliate could make for tense talks. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Bargaining continues this week between WestJet and the union representing flight attendants. Talks resumed in Calgary on Monday. The union says WestJet is the second largest carrier in Canada, and its flight attendants are among the lowest paid. Along with that, flight attendants' wages don't start before the doors of the aircraft close, and the union says they each work up to 35 unpaid hours a month. The airline says their hourly wage is created to compensate every hour their flight attendants work. The earliest a strike could happen is August 2nd. Donald Trump has renewed his threat to attack Iranian infrastructure. The U.S. president said today the U.S. will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant anytime Tehran targets a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Both sides have dug in on their dispute over the crucial waterway for global energy. It's still mainly closed because of Iranian attacks. The Americans carried out another wave of strikes on Iranian areas overnight into today, and air defenses opened fire over Tehran. Iran launched a missile attack on a Jordanian city, and alerts were issued in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Peace negotiations remain largely stalled. All right, that blip of rain, Jeff, but for the most part, a pretty warm and sunny day today.
A warm and sunny day, and it looks like that's what's in the cards for the most of the province. Chantel, as we make our way into the next couple of days, certainly the warm side. Maybe there'll be a bit more cloud in some places, but definitely hot conditions as that heat dome continues to impact what goes on in our country as well. Let's take a look and see what our numbers show us. That's 26 degrees in Saskatoon, 25 in Prince Albert, and 27 in the Battleford. And as you can see, not particularly windy. As we take a look at the almanac for Saskatoon, 26 degrees, 28 degrees rather for a daytime high today. 25 is typical for this time of year. 37, though, that was the record. That was set back in 1988. The cold temperature record from over a century ago, from 1905. Sun came up at 5:13. It's going to go down at 9:12.
Coming up, setting up kids for success. A look at a camp that teaches youth skills they can count on later in life.
Ocean Week. On the next Your Morning, we're walking you through how to pick the proper life jacket and how to stay safe out on the water.
Reach, throw, row, go, tow. All right, here we go. Now let's take a look and see. We've got a few clouds out there. It was some much darker clouds that rolled through, but they were not long lasting. We certainly had a blast of rain, though. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. And as we mentioned now, a lot of these big blobs you see, that is what we call ground clutter. The radar, it's so hot, it sort of fools the radar. But there have been, you can certainly see the remnants of some of those storms sort of slid on through. But they, as we call them, pop-up showers, and you know, or jiffy pop if I'm the one describing them. You certainly see a lot of those across the mountain west down in the States into the Pacific Northwest and the far north up around BC and Alberta and the northern portions of that border area. But 26 degrees in Saskatoon and Prince Albert at 25, 27 in the Battlefords right now. The hot spot in the province, that was Val-Marie at 30 degrees. Stony Rapids, the cold spot at 8. Around the province go. Currently it is 26 degrees in Lloydminster, Swift Current and Estevan and Yorkton, 28 in Moose Jaw, 27 in the Queen City. Into central parts of the province, temperatures don't range a whole lot. Basically 3 degrees from 25 in a few locations up to 28. That's in Rosetown. 26 in Meadow Lake right now. 27 in Kindersley. Up north, hot temperatures there too for Buffalo Narrows, La Ronge, Sandy Bay, Island Falls, and South End. A little cooler, but still relatively pleasant and not overly hot in Stony Rapids and Collins Bay, where it's 22 degrees. Down south at 30 degrees right now in Maple Creek. A few other locations at 28 degrees. As we make our way over towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures drop down into the mid-20s, but so it's still seasonal or warmer. So here's the future cast. As you can see, the most of the active weather showing up in northern areas. The low is coming in out of northern Alberta, actually a bit of the NWT, and then sliding across into northern Alberta and Saskatchewan. And it looks like it could be fairly intense at times, so we'll keep our eye on that. The potential for some thunderstorms is certainly there. Right now, there's a heat warning in place for southwestern Saskatchewan, basically sort of Fox Valley, Maple Creek, Swift Current. Those areas are under a heat alert issued by Environment Canada. So around the province we go for tomorrow. Temperatures, for the most part, on the warm side of seasonal, a bit on the cool side in Stony Rapids. We've got ourselves a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm from Meadow Lake. Otherwise, sunny or mainly sunny skies for Spiritwood, Kindersley, and Rosetown, and hot temperatures. Temperatures in the low to mid-30s for southwestern Saskatchewan. Slightly cooler, but still in the 30s for southeastern Saskatchewan and east central Saskatchewan. Temperatures hovering around the 30-degree mark for Thursday. For Prince Albert, the Battlefords dropping down to 13, and flip those numbers around, and a 30% chance of showers, 31 degrees tomorrow, and then 28 on Friday, getting up to 31 on Saturday, and staying on the warm side of seasonal for the most part right through to Tuesday. For Prince Albert, a chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm tonight. That chance of showers lingers into tomorrow. We're talking pop-up showers here. And then 29 for Saturday and Sunday, and then cooling off a bit for Monday and Tuesday at 27. And Saskatoon's temperature, we're expecting to drop down to 15 degrees, a slight chance of showers with the risk of a thunderstorm. Tomorrow, 32 big degrees, mainly sunny skies, not much wind. And then as we head into the weekend, look at that. Temperatures hovering around 32 degrees and staying at 29 for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
We won the war. Help me go home.
The Kramer IMAX Theatre in Regina has added additional showtimes for director Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. It's the only theater in Saskatchewan capable of showing the 70mm IMAX film version of the movie, and one of fewer than 10 in Canada. Showtimes currently run at the Science Centre through August 20th.
Hey, is that your phone number on there? Yeah. We just met Green Day. Liars. Put the liars back up, Tommy.
If you're a Green Day fan, you could have, well, the time of your life watching this in theaters. A new Green Day film follows the band Analog Dogs being invited to open for Green Day on New Year's Eve. What follows is a comedic road trip across the U.S. inspired by Green Day's touring days in a van. It stars McKenna Grace with an appearance by the Green Day Trio. The film hits theaters August 14th. And the Toronto International Film Festival is out with its lineup for the 2026 Discovery program, showcasing selection of emerging global filmmakers. The opening title will be Theo Reese's Stuffed, a twisted musical starring Jodie Comer and Harry Melling. Also making their world premieres at TIFF are Drifter, the directorial debut of Fast and Furious star Sung Kang, and Head to Head from Iran. Festival programmers say the movies offer audiences a front row seat to the future of cinema. This year's festival runs September 10th through 20th.
All right, Jeff, our picks of the day are always special, but one of them today is extra special.
It is indeed. But let's take a look at this one. We'll start off with a sunset. Classic picture. This was taken at White Swan Lake, and this is taken by Leslie. So, Leslie, that is beautiful. Sunset, sunshine, and the splashing on the water there on the shoreline. And the next one comes to us from Alan, also taken up north at the lake. And the lake happened to be Waskesiu. This bull elk came down to the lake on July 21st. So, in other words, yesterday. So, that's a great shot. Nice shot there, Alan. And finally, from Rick, my mom and dad are celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary today. Their names are Wally and Irene Selsky. Now I'm going to be paraphrasing what Rick told us. They have wonderful memories of getting married south of Prudhoe on a very hot day. The reception was held at the Selsky homestead. The meal was served in an empty granary. There was an outdoor dance with live music. Plenty of, quote, refreshments were consumed, and a great time was had by all. Well, it sounds like that's a great way to kick off a life together. And thank you, Rick, for sharing this. And happy anniversary, Wally and Irene, from your friends here at CTV. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line. And if you want to scan the QR code on the screen, that'll also help you get those pictures to us.
Still to come on CTV News, a camp full of life lessons, what some Canadian youth are learning aside from camp songs. A summer camp near Montreal is going beyond the usual outdoor activities and games. It aims to offer young people a roadmap for success, specifically in finance. CTV's Anastasia Dextrine has the details.
Finance is rule number one.
The soundtrack of summer sounds different at Camp Valiquette. Alongside camp songs is conversation about academics and financial literacy.
If you work in our camp from 16 to 21, by the time you're 21, you'll have $30,000 cash in the bank. At 18, we're going to help you open a brokerage account.
Founder and director Jay Valiquette created the academy in 2010. More than 9,000 young people from Côte-des-Neiges and surrounding communities have since signed up.
The summer makes a life-changing difference for them because they come in and maybe they're a little shy, maybe they lack a little bit of confidence, but when they see that they can recite all the planets and the continents and the oceans and we can sing all the songs, etc., they go, wow, I can do this.
The program blends academics with arts and sports. After struggling in school as a child himself, Valiquette says helping those in need is close to his heart. Regular fees are kept low at a subsidized rate of $170 a week. Even more reduced rates are available on a case-by-case basis.
Single moms come for $25 a week. We've got you. CLSC NDG, CLSC Côte-des-Neiges, and Badshaw send us their children as well. They'll pay for 2.5 weeks, and we'll give 6.5 weeks for free.
For Valiquette, it isn't about the money. What brings him the most gratification is seeing campers grow into staff members who continue to learn and give back themselves.
I volunteered 13, 14, 15, and now I'm 16 and I got hired this year. So this is like my 4th summer, and ever since then I've grown a lot.
I've took so much in here. I did the McGill financial course. I have my certificate. I also am doing right now the AI courses.
I learned so much about financial success, especially financial success. The CV template, he's helping me with the CV, and my CV is looking really great.
But Jay's a great mentor. Never gives up on anybody, but you have to accept his help.
And while camp only goes for a few weeks, Valiquette hopes the lessons learned will last a lifetime. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
When we come back, who's headed to Saskatoon for the next Briar, and later a community tradition that grew in size.
here's what's happening in our community. The Saskatoon Pro Tennis Classic 2026 is underway at Riverside Badminton and Tennis Club. This is professional women's tennis with international players competing for prize money and WTA ranking points. The Man Art Gallery in Prince Albert is holding a plein air drawing workshop on Wednesday, July 29th between 6:30 and 8:30. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. All right, time to take a look at the next 24 hours as we roll into our rural forecast. So Meadow Lake is on the edge of that system that's bringing in the inclement weather. So Meadow Lake and Meadow Lake Provincial Park, Dorantosh, those places, they could see a shower, possible thunderstorm. 30 degrees, though, hot temperatures there and staying hot. And look at these numbers. 32 degrees for Outlook and Kindersley, 31 for Lloydminster and Watrous. We've got ourselves 30 for Hudson Bay, 29 for Wynyard. It is hot out there and hot down south. Look at these numbers. Just about everyone on this part of the map, with the exception of Carlisle, which is at 29, is at 30 or hotter. So it is a hot Thursday in store for our province. And does that include Elbow? Well, of course it does. Mainly sunny skies for Elbow, 31 degrees. Feels like 34. There's still a bit of humidity out there, so it'll feel 3 degrees warmer, and winds out of the southwest at 10. And Elbow is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from Saskatoon.
Another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. The Saskatchewan Roughriders coming off a bye week now with a 4-1 record. Wes, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about Jaden and all the circumstances related to that. But now you have a team in the Riders who you have to play another game on Thursday. You have to play the rest of the season. How does this team do that?
Yeah, condolences to the Dalkey family. But as far as playing goes, this team is going to obviously be playing with some heavy hearts and probably with a lot of emotion. You know, they're going to be going out there trying to play for their fallen brother, right, and try to use, I guess, this the best way you can to kind of motivate you through this adversity. It's going to be really hard. It's really focused during practice. There's going to be some down times. Obviously, there's going to be some moments taken to discuss and fill out where everybody's at mentally and emotionally. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to rally around this and try to put forth a great performance. So I think that it's going to be tough. And I've actually lost a roommate and a teammate back in college, and it just really hits you, and it really it just mentally wears on you. But hopefully, these guys can find a way to use it as motivation and bring everybody closer together to come out with a victory and move on.
Tough opponent, though, in these Edmonton Elks, who have now taken the lead in the West Division with that win over BC. What have you noticed about these Elks? Like, are they for real this year?
I know, and I'm always giving Cody Fajardo a tough time, but he does find a way, and he has been finding a way these last couple of years to, you know, close out games. But really, it's been about the Elks' defense, right? They've really been playing really tough. They've been turning teams over. They've been making it easy for this Elks offense, and then you got Justin Rankin in there, just really looking like he's making the game easy. I think he's been slowed down a couple of times. He's really struggled against BC, so I think if the Riders take some of that tape and try to implement what the Lions have been doing to this Elks offense, they should fare pretty well. But I think the onus is going to be on this Riders offense. With that Elk defense, the Riders are going to really have to figure out a way not to turn the ball over, you know, stick to the ground game, sprinkle in the pass. They've got the receivers to get it done, but they cannot turn the ball over. They've got to sustain drives and make sure that they're not going to make it easy for the Elk offense to take advantage of the Rider defense in short field situations.
And a rare home-and-home series with the Elks, where these next two games will decide who is the top of the West. How much film do you give them to look at when you play a team back-to-back in game one?
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember my rookie year in Calgary, actually, the Labor Day back-to-back was Monday and Friday, if you can imagine. So it almost felt like one big game. But I think, obviously, there's more time in between Thursday and I believe Saturday. So I think a lot of times it's really just a little less prep because you're going against the next opponent for that week in between. But it's still tough, and you definitely don't want to lose both. You really want to find a way to win both. But just making some adjustments adjustments. It's like it's almost like you get a week halftime to kind of get prepped and to make those adjustments to go out and be victorious in the second half of this home and home. So we'll see how it goes. But I feel like the Riders, if they play their cards right, they should be able to get both, if not one, at least one.
So Thursday night matchup between the Riders and the Elks at Mosaic Stadium. We'll be back next week to set up the second half of that doubleheader on another edition of X's and O's.
3 of the teams competing at the 100th anniversary of the Montana's Brier in Saskatoon this winter have Saskatchewan connections. Headlining the 3 teams is Team Tardy from Saskatoon, Nutana, who have pre-qualified for the Brier. Tyler Tardy takes over skip duties from Mike McEwen, who was released from the team, which also includes Colton Flash, as well as Kevin and Dan Marsh. Fresh off their Olympic gold medal, Brad Jacobs' rink has also locked up their spot. Regina's Ben Hebert is a member of that squad. And fending off all challengers as Team Canada is Matt Dunstone's Winnipeg rink. Dunstone previously skipped for Team Saskatchewan at 3 Briers. The remainder of the field will be set by provincial and territorial playdown champions. The 2027 Montana's Brier is set for February 26th to March 7th at Sasktel Centre. Big tech companies have started to report earnings. Marilla Fernandez has more on that.
Alphabet is the first. The parent company of Google reported revenue of about $120 billion U.S. for the last 3 months. A key metric for Alphabet is cloud revenue, which was up over 80% from last year, coming in at just under $25 billion U.S. Its CEO says its earning success also comes from its AI chatbot, Gemini, AI queries, and YouTube. Like the other hyperscalers, Alphabet is spending billions of dollars on its AI infrastructure. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to $70.99 U.S. West Texas Intermediate up over $2 to $86.83 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up over $1 to $68.11. And the TSX gained 116 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just over $1.71 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.55.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up $2.22 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $96.40. Coming up, a city mascot of sorts that reaches the skies. Then Las Vegas has some serious competition.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Master Chef. Well, Minnesota isn't waiting to get ready for the holidays. The town of Luverne now boasts the world's unofficial tallest nutcracker, standing at more than 65 feet and decked out like Uncle Sam. That's almost twice the height of a 33-foot nutcracker in Neuhausen, Germany, that Guinness World Records currently has ranked as the largest. The city's love of nutcrackers began with a woman named Betty Mann, who donated her collection of 2,500 nutcrackers to the town's historical society. A committee then decided to build this giant nutcracker as a way to draw in more tourists. So it just seems to be their theme there.
Kids, we're going to Luverne. What's in Luverne? A giant nutcracker. Yay!
People like those things.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Maybe you'll like this.
Well.
It's also giant. The Las Vegas Sphere has a little bit of competition going on. The Nova Spherical Theater has opened its doors in northern China. It stands at 46 meters tall with a 54-meter diameter. That's about half the size of one in Vegas. China is planning to build 3 of these spherical theater venues. Do you like that? Is that
That's
more
pretty
impressive?
cool. It's pretty cool.
People like those things too.
Yeah.
Look at it. You can do all sorts of things on it.
Did it just drool?
Yes, it did.
Exactly. Oh, cute.
All sorts of things. Movie night, right?
Well, why not?
Yeah.
You know.
And we can simply tell you that, well, you know, it's a good movie night to maybe stay indoors and keep cool if you can. We have a heat warning in effect for parts of southwestern Saskatchewan. It's going to be an air conditioning kind of day for many if you've got air conditioning as we roll into tomorrow.
And then the weekend is looking spicy.
Yeah, exactly. The weekend is looking like it's going to be hot, straight up hot.
Definitely is. All right, that is our show. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Bye now.